name's Casey Stewart. I'm out of the Piketon office. We will be covering a basic report overview. So today we'll just go through, where you can access reports. We'll cover, the difference between a template report, a canned report, and a customized report. We'll also cover account filters and report bundles. As I stated in the email that we just sent out, we won't be covering any customization of reports, any creating of, modifying those definitions for operations and parameters. That will be covered in our intermediate report training that will be done by the wonderful and magnificent Sharon Lawley on April 20th. So please join us at that time. I'm just going to go over a couple trainings that are scheduled here in April. The next training will be Thursday, April 14th from 9 to 11:30, and that will be our budget training. So again, that is Thursday, April 14th from 9 to 11:30. Budget training, and that is in our email that was recently sent. Please ignore the fact that it says 9 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. It will not be that long, I promise. Again, budget training, Thursday, April 14th from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The intermediate report training will be Wednesday, April 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Again, that will be the intermediate report training, April 20th. It's a Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That will go more in depth with report creation, again, modifying definitions and creating specific customized reports. The last training of the month will be new contract training, and that will be Thursday, April 28th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Again, new contract training, Thursday, April 28th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And to reiterate, that was in, all of those are in the email that was recently sent within the last hour. And you do not need to sign up. They're just Zoom links. You just have to click on the Zoom link to join. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer those. Okay, so let's get started. Share my screen here. Okay. Would my host be willing to grant me access to share my screen, please? That would be much appreciated.
Sorry about that, Casey. Let me find you.
Fine. You're fine.
All right, you should be able to do that now.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, can everyone see the USAS Cotton Demo Schools? Excellent, thank you. All right, let's get started here. So the email that was sent out within the last hour contained 3 documents: a basic report guide, 4 steps to creating account filters and customize report bundles, and then an Excel spreadsheet that is a template report crosswalk. So it will tell you, it will list the reports in redesign as well as their equivalent to classic, and an explanation as to why you would want to run that report. So we're going to start off with the basic report guide document. We're going to follow down through this document. I do ask, if you have questions, please write them down and we'll address them at the end. That way we can have enough time to get through the documentation. We know your time is valuable and we don't want to keep you longer than we have to. So please just write those questions down, then at the end we will have a Q&A session. So this document is a basic report guide, and as I stated, we'll cover the following topics: accessing home tab reports and report manager reports. We'll look at how to rename and copy reports on the report manager grid. We'll look at how to download report definitions so you can share with others via email. Or via USB. Say you want to share a large number of report definitions and save them to a USB drive. You can do that and then give that USB drive to that individual. We'll cover difference between I have canned reports and template reports, but we'll actually cover the difference between canned reports, template reports, and customized reports. And we'll discuss how to create account filters and report bundles as well. All right, first and foremost, home tab reports. Okay, so as you can see here, we're already on the home tab. Okay, but you can click the home tab here, home tab in the top left-hand corner. If you have reports on the report manager grid, and again, don't stress, we're going to cover this section a little more later on. But if you have reports in the report manager grid that are marked as favorites, you click on home tab, it's going to automatically show your favorite reports. So as you can see here, we have just one report, my budget expense worksheet. That's because it's marked as a favorite in the report manager grid. So the show all reports, if you click on that, that is going to give you a list of all reports. Okay, so this button works opposite of what it states. So show all reports is going to show you all reports. Okay, so show only favorites will be available when all reports are showing and you only want to see your favorites. Then you would click on show only favorites. And then that again will show only favorites. And so to reiterate, that is marked under the favorites checkbox in the report manager grid. So we're going to go down here and we are going to click on the generate report button. Okay, so I'm just going to select disbursement detail. So I'm going to click here on the generate report button. And that's going to give us the generate report window, as you can see in the screenshot on the document as well as on your monitor. So first we're going to cover the save and recall section. Okay, so that's going to be right here. Don't mind my circle because that was terrible. I'm not good at freehand. That is the save and recall option. So in Classic, we had an F11 on our reports for save and recall. So you would enter your criteria, you would hit F11, it would allow you to save those options and you can name it whatever you wanted to name it. So save and recall here in redesign is the exact same situation. Okay, so we're going to cover save and recall here. Save and recall has a drop down and we have default and most recent. Most recent is going to show you your most recent criteria that you entered to generate that report. Default, that is going to give you the default settings for this report that's set up in the system through SSDT. The blank space here, this is where you can create your save and recall reports. Okay, so say for example, I'm just gonna use test. So say I want to create a report with specific criteria, and I don't want to keep entering that specific criteria every time I turn around. So I click on this blank space. So then it gives me the cursor and it allows me to type in whatever I want to name my report. So again, I'm going to use test. So once I hit tab, this will highlight the blue save button. Okay, so this is how you're going to save it. So I'm going to click on the save button. Once I click on this save button, then it's going to give me options to 2 other buttons here. Okay, so we're going to go to query options, and I'm just going to put in one criteria here. So I want this to run, you know, for the month is August. So I'm going to say 8/1/21 to 8/31/21. All right. And so say I just want reconciled disbursements. So if I come back up here and I hit the blue save button, that's going to save my query parameters. So the next time that I come in here, all I have to do is select that option and those will be filled in. So for example, I'm going to close this out, click the little X, and we're going to go back into disbursement detail and click the generate report button. So here we are. It's going to give you most recent. And we're going to click on the drop down box. And we're going to select test. So if we go to query, then there's our options. So that's how you create a save and recall of a report. You enter your specific query parameters, your specific report options or sort options, and then you hit save. And we will cover these tabs here shortly. So say you don't want to keep this save and recall. Okay, you can click the delete button and that will delete that save and recall option. So again, if you don't want to keep it, you can click the delete button here. So this last button on the far right, this is called a report direct link. So what this will do is if we click on it, this is going to generate a report link. And so we can, then you can copy and paste and email it to someone, and they'll be able to click on the link and open, and it'll generate the report for them. Okay, so to execute that report, we would just click on the link, and that has generated the report down here in the bottom left hand corner. So I'm going to click on that, and there's the report. So I'll go back again. For a save and recall, we can generate a direct link by clicking on that, the icon that shows a link. And then you can, again, click on this link to generate the report. And then if you want to include parameters, you can select include parameters. So what this does is if you click this box, it will always use the original saved parameters. If it's not clicked, then it will run with the currently saved parameters that you saved under your save and recall. So if I were to check box include parameters and click on this report, it's going to run it based off the default settings. If I uncheck this report or uncheck this box and run it, then it's going to run it with the saved parameters based off my save and recall. So, yes, this and Mary, yes, this is a very helpful tool. And I don't know how many people realize that it was there, and that's why we wanted to cover that today. And so I'm sure a lot of people will find this very helpful. So again, we can click on it, click on the link, and it'll create our report in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay. Or we can right-click on it and copy link address and email it to somebody. And then what they can do is then they could click on it and it will generate that report. So again, you can just left click on it. It'll generate the report for you from this window, or you can right click and click on copy link address. So again, right click, copy link address. Once you copy the link address, we can open a new tab and right click. So again, open a new tab or new browser, whatever your preference is, right click, and we can paste and go to. And again, it generates your report down in here on the bottom left for you to run. No, I do not believe that they have to have USAS access. I've not read that anywhere. What it does is I believe the URL just create, the system will just create the PDF file and attach a URL to it. So all they have to do is just click on it. It's like going to a website and clicking on a PDF link and it downloading for you and then opening it up. So the question was, does the person have to have USAS-R access? Does it take them to the report that we ran? Or every time they use the link, it will pull in the live data? No, it'll be based off of live data. Well, you will have to, so for example, say you make changes, okay? Say on Monday, you create this link and you send it to them. It's going to give them the data at that point. So come Friday, you've processed some transactions, reconciled, whatever the case may be, then you'll want to go in and regenerate that link and send them the new link. So it won't update the information, because again, it just creates a PDF of that report. And team, if you know differently or have heard differently from SSDT, please chime in. Okay, so that is the direct link. Now you can also put it in Excel. So for example, I'm going to right click and copy the link address again. So right click, copy the link address again. And then I'm going to open Excel. Can everybody see my Excel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So once we have the link copied, we can go to this data tab here at the top. So once you have the link copied, we can go to data tab. Once we're on data tab, there's two ways to handle this. We can click on from web, which is right here. And this is all dependent on your version of Excel. I should throw that out. This is all dependent on your version of Excel. So when you go to data, it just depends on how this looks over here. You could either from web, or you can go to get data. So again, get data, other sources. So get data from other sources, and then from web. Either option works. It's the same button, just one way is longer than the other. So we click on from web, and then it gives you the option of basic and the URL. So we're going to right click and we're going to paste the URL in here. Now this has several steps in it. So depending on your need for this, this may not be the best option. But once we save the URL in there, we're going to click OK. All right. Okay. Of course, I tested this yesterday and this morning, and now it's not going to work. And that's how it always works. Let me see. I'm going to take reconciled out here because I tested it without that. So I'm going to take reconciled out. I'm going to click on my direct link button again. I'm going to, excuse me, right click, copy link address. Again, that's right click, copy link address. I'm going to come back down here and open Excel. And again, we're going to go to data tab. So the data tab, and then you can either select from web or other source, get data, other sources from web. So get data, other sources, web, or just click on the web from web button. Okay, so Heidi tested the, do they need USASR access? And apparently it does. She sent that to her email, clicked on the link, and it did require her to log in. So it does require them to have USAS access. Thank you, Heidi. So I'm going to paste the URL in there. We're going to click OK. Yeah, I'm not sure why this isn't working now. We're in August.
Hey, Case, change your format.
So we'll want to be on the report options page, change our format from PDF to Excel. I just use Excel field names. That's just what I always use. So format, Excel, we'll click on our direct link again. We're going to right click the link and copy link address. Select Excel. Again, we're going to data tab, and then from web. We're going to paste the URL, click OK. There it is. Thank you, Heidi. And so we're going to click on produces a detailed listing, and there's our data. And then down here in the bottom, it says transform data. So we're going to click transform data. So then it's going to give you a Power Query editor. And so we just need to come over here and click on the close and load button. So top left-hand corner, close and load. Yes, thank you, Carol. And thank you, Michelle. So there is the data in the spreadsheet. Now, again, it just depends on your need for this option, because if we were to go back here to our save and recall, and we, instead of using the direct link and we hit download the generate report, it's going to give you the same information in an Excel format. So once again, it's just dependent on your need or your wants on which option you want to use. So that is the direct link button. So I'll come back over here to the generate report button. So the next thing, the arrow buttons down here at the bottom, all these do, all these buttons are used for is to navigate in between these three tabs up here. So if we click the arrow button, it takes us to query options. Do it again, it takes us to sort options, and the same thing going backwards. So arrow buttons help you navigate through the tabs. So you could either click on the tab or you could click the arrow button to navigate through those tabs. If you do the Excel version, is that like having a query set up in Classic that can be refreshed with live data? You know what? I haven't tested that. That's a good question. If someone on the team wants to test that direct link, maybe try to refresh the table, that quite possibly could be the case. I never thought of that. And again, that would be, it didn't require me to log in because I had already logged in yesterday from testing it. And so it may require you to log in to do that, to refresh that data. Why do some reports have start and end date and others do not? Just depends on the report. Some reports pulls based off the current posting period, and other reports may be based off historical data. And so historical data is going to require a start and stop date, whereas a current posting period data is set up to specifically for that posting period and doesn't require a date. And team, if you have something different, please jump in. So the arrows, again, are to navigate between tabs. The generate button is exactly what that is. Once you're ready, once you enter all your criteria and you're ready to generate, you just click on the generate button. That'll generate a report based off the criteria and report options you've entered. So the last icon down here is a job scheduler icon. If we click on this icon, you have the opportunity to create what we call a cron expression. Again, I believe the wonderful and magnificent Sharon will be covering this in the intermediate training. But you can, we do have links, a couple links in documentation that you can go to a cron expression website to create that. Then you would copy and paste and enter it in this field. You can change the name, the job name, and then you would enter emails to the individuals that you want this to be sent to. And so the cron expression will allow you to schedule specific dates, specific times. Maybe you want it to go out every Monday at 8 a.m. Then that cron expression will allow you to set that up to do that. Maybe you want it to go out on the third Thursday of every month at midnight. You'll be able to set that up with a cron expression. So the first tab, report options. So this is going to allow you to enter specific options on how that report is going to be created. So first you have format. You do have you have multiple options here that you can choose from. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little black arrow that you can click on to take you to the next page. As well as when you're on the second page, up here in the top right, there's a little black arrow that you can click on to take you back to the first page. Now, I do believe that there is an enhancement request in to put all of these on one drop-down box so we don't have to go back and forth. You can also come down to the last option and scroll down, and it'll take you to the second page of that drop-down. Page size. So page size allows you to, to determine the page size of your report, whether it be letter, legal, and note, ledger, whatever. I've never even heard of this third one, to be honest with you. Half letter, Looks like it says with no space. So you have the option of selecting page size. The next option is orientation. So it's either portrait or landscape. Then you have names. So before you generate the report, then you can change the name. That way, when it downloads, it already has the name assigned, the file name assigned to it when you open it. Then you can save it to your desktop, to an external drive or server, or whatever the case may be. Summary report. So summary report, when checked, is going to give you a summary report. And so based off the setup of that report, and again, it'll be covered in more detail in the intermediate session. If you have certain control breaks set for certain properties, it will summarize based off that property, and it will sum any totals that you may have. So that's what the summary checkbox does. So what is the difference to the save and recall name and the name that you're speaking about now? So save and recall is just strictly the name of the template that you're creating through save and recall. The name down here is, so detailed check register is just the default name of the report. So you have the option of changing that report. So for example, if I wanted up here to change this test and I wanted to say, I don't know, student activities, and I hit save. Well, that's the name of my template, my save and recall template. But down here, maybe I want to name it, yearbook disbursements, or FY22 yearbook disbursements. So the report is just named given a specific file name based off what you're running. So that way you can easily identify the different reports. Okay. Show report options. When this is checked and you generate the report, it's going to give you a page just like Classic. It's going to give you an options page of all your report options and query options and sort options. Oh, I didn't change it won't give it to you in an Excel. I should have changed that output. Let's go back here and do this again. Let's change this to PDF and then generate. So then the first page is going to be a options page. It's going to tell you who it was generated by, the date and time, and your different report parameters. So we have our report options here, the first four, and then first really 6, and then your query options is your date. And then it shows your query options again down here. So that's what the show report options checkbox does. So this is real helpful when you're trying to run a report and something's not working. When you check that and then you send it into us and say, hey, I'm not understanding, my report's not working. I don't know why. It's very helpful for us to have the report options page so we can easily see what's being entered, and it may pop out to us and say, oh, okay, well, you have this entered. We need to change that. So the report options page is very helpful when researching situations. All right, on to page 4. Come back here, and we're going to cover the query options tab. So the query options tab, that is, and again, this will be covered in intermediate, when you're customizing your filters, what we call configure filters, your configure filters pull into the query options tab. So these are options in which you create in your report to filter your report by. So you can make changes. Say you don't want vendors in your query options, you can go in and take it out. Types, you have accounts payable, refund, payroll, allows you to enter either one of those. Say you want to create a report that's accounts payable only, you don't even want to have to deal with the option of typing in a choice. Then you can go again into that configure filters area of the report definition and change it to say, I want type to always equal accounts payable. And once you do that, then this option will no longer show on your query because it's a direct option. And so it'll just sit in the background and always pull based off that static option that you put in. So that's these are just your query parameters that get created on the configure filters tab of the definition, report definition. The arrows, once again, those just navigate through the tabs at the top. Generate report, you generate the report, and then the job scheduler icon. They do this the same functionality as what it was on the report options tab. Sort options. So sort options, you can set up a specific sort within that report definition when you're customizing those. And so your sortable properties are all the properties that are in the report. So all of these properties here on the left are in the report. And so they have the ability to be sorted on. The reason check number is over here is because that's the only property in the definition that has a sort priority set to it. And so it automatically shows up under selected properties. Now, if you want to move, specific properties over, you can checkbox them and then click and drag, and then they'll come over. So again, check the box, left click and drag, and they can come over. And it's the same the other way. So you don't want, specific, maybe you pulled something over by mistake. You just click the checkbox, left click, drag back over. Now, so on the selected properties, the first property that's listed, let me back that up. On the selected properties, the order that they show is the order that they're going to sort by. So it'll sort by check number first, sort by type, sort by primary name, and sort by date in that order. The ascending checkbox, when that's checked, it is exactly what it says. It will sort ascending, so smallest to largest. So the ascending checkbox will sort smallest to largest. The control break checkbox, what this means is if this box is checked, it'll say at every change in this property, I want to bold it, create it as a subheading, as well as summarize any amounts. So whether it be disbursement amounts, whether it be receipts or, encumbrances, whatever the case may be, it will sort those amounts as well as bold that property every time it changes and make it a subheader. Now, and to go back to the summary option on the reports page, reports option, when the summary option is checked, this is where that control break comes into play. If a control break is set, the summary option will only show that property and then total all the amounts associated with that report. Can the order of these properties be moved around? Yes, good question. So for example, say I want date first, I would just, you can either check the box or you can left click on this property. So you can check the box or you can left click on this property and then move up and just drag it up. I don't know why it's not working here. There we go. Well, apparently. Supposed to.
Casey,
So, yes.
for moving it around in a different spot, I found I always have to move it over to the left
Okay.
and then bring it back over to the right where I want it.
Okay. Which
I've
is
never been
crazy.
able to just move it around personally.
Well,
I've never been able to.
Yeah, and which is crazy because I have. That's strange. Maybe I don't know if there's that's different on each one, but I've been able to move these around over here.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow. Maybe you have to touch on some of them.
no, I don't know. So okay, so then you would just have to what I would do is just drag all of them over, and then if there's a specific one that you want first, then you would just pull that over. So I want date first, and then maybe I want check number, and then move it over. But yes, you can definitely put them in different orders. So yes, you can change it around. I don't know if that's been, maybe, I don't know, maybe that was something new with an old release, but I remember doing that before. So, okay. So yeah, well, like Carol and Heidi just messages, you'll just want to pull them over and then put them in order the way you want them back over. Okay. All right. So that is control break. So I'm gonna move check number back over here. Page break. So page break works similar to control break. If this is marked, then that means that every change in the check number it's going to put it on a brand new page. So you want to be careful checking that on specific properties, because I'm sure you don't want a new check on every page. You end up having thousands of pages, depending on the report you're running. Now I know I've created some payroll reports for deductions for people where I've checked that page break for the payroll item code. And so a new payroll item code would start on a new page. But that is what page break means. Let's see here. Okay. So that's page break. So that finishes up the generate report window for the reports on the home tab. So now we're going to be on page 5, and we're going to report manager reports. So that is going to be under the report tab. And it just hit me, I didn't say this at the beginning, but I do want to point out the fact that we are in USAS. That's because the majority of the reports that get requested are from USAS, but everything that I'm showing you works exactly the same on payroll side. Exactly the same. The only difference is you're going to see payroll report names instead of USAS report names. So everything is the same. Everything that I'm showing you here, you can follow on the payroll side. So again, we're going to go to report tab here at the top. And then we're going to go select report manager. Okay. So report tab and report manager. Now, all the reports that you see here on your home tab are going to be in the report manager. So this is your report manager grid. And again, as you can see, all the reports on your home tab are here on the report manager grid. Okay. So, and again, I just want to reiterate that we will not be going through, modifying these report definitions, and, that'll be covered in our intermediate session. But I am going to cover the different icons here. And so the first icon to the far left is our generate and download report. Okay, same button on your home tab. It gives you the same generate report window that we just covered on the home tab. The second icon, the eyeball, that is the open report definition and detail report view. Now, this is where you're gonna, that Sharon's gonna spend, quite a bit of time in intermediate training, because this is where you modify the report definitions. I like to refer to as the bone structure of the report. So this is where you would end up moving everything around. So again, I'm not going to go in detail here, but I do want to point out, when I was talking to you about query options, you can go in and make those changes. This is where you would change those query options under the configure filters. So we're going to go back to the report manager, which is here. Click this button here, take us back to the report manager. The third icon is your edit icon. So this is where you'll be able to edit, the report name, the description, and a tag. Okay. So your report name, again, that's going to be what you want your name of your report to be. So again, student activities. I want it to be named student activities. It'll show up as student activities. And then when you click on the generate report button, then you have the option of actually changing the file name that gets generated to FY22 yearbook disbursements. Okay. You can change the description. This is just called a budget report. Tags. Now this is good for, say you want to create, I don't know, 8 reports for the auditors. There's specific reports that they request, and you want to create those. If you put in audit or auditor as a tag, okay, and you hit save, if we scroll over here to the right, we now have a tag that says auditor. And so you can go and filter by that tag, and it'll pull up all the reports that you need to run for your auditors. So again, that is the tag field. All right. So the fourth icon here is the delete button. So as you can see here, we have 3 delete buttons, but they're all grayed out for SSDT. Okay. And we'll cover that later, but that just means you can't delete an SSDT report. Now, if you have a customized report, which is what these are, then you can go and delete them out if you no longer need them or want them showing up in your report manager. This fifth icon is the download report definition. This is where you can share the definition with other treasurers, other people, other employees in your district. What you would do is you would click on the icon, and it downloads the file. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you, don't try to open it. Excuse me. Because I don't know if you guys can see this. I can't drag it over. Showed up on my other screen, but it gives you the option of how do you want to open this file. There's no software that you can use to open it. It's going to give you a bunch of gibberish. And so when we download it and you have the file, then you can again email it to somebody. They can import that definition into the report manager by using this import report button. Again, we'll cover that here in a minute. If you want to, again, you have, say you want to download all three of these, and now you have all three of them that you want to share. Apparently this is a Word document. I'm not sure why this was created. But you have multiple files that you want to share with another treasurer and or another employee in the district, and you don't want to email it. You'd rather just save it to a USB drive and give it to them. Then you can do that as well. And again, what they'll do is they'll come to Report Manager and click on the Import Report and import it. All right. Oh, that is not what I wanted. Okay. This sixth icon. So this is your share report definition with roles. So say you created a report, okay, and you're a group manager role or USAS manager role, or and you want to share that with a secretary or another or a supervisor, and they don't have the same role you have, you can click on this this icon and then click the roles that you would like to share it with. So for example, I want to share it with someone who has read-only access. Okay, so then we hit save and they refresh their home page, it'll show up on their home tab, and then they'll be able to run that report. Okay. Here we go. So you can't change the name of an SSDT report either, can you? No, that is correct. And like I said, we're going to cover that here in a little bit. Thank you, Carol. So yes, we can change it, but you cannot edit and modify the actual SSDT report. I will be showing you how you can change that. So yes, thank you, Jen. When you share a report with a specific role, everybody with that role can see that report. So just keep that in mind. You share it with a role, everybody with that role can see that report. So if you don't want everyone with that role to see it, the best option would be to download the definition and email it directly to the person that you want using it. Okay. So this seventh, well, this is not really an icon, it's a checkbox, but the checkbox under favorite, when this is checked, that report will show on your home tab. As we see, my budget expense worksheet is showing. So we go to report manager, and I want more reports to show as my favorites. So I'm just going to come down here and just randomly select different checkboxes. Okay. And then we're going to go back to our home tab. And there's all the reports that we marked as favorites. All right. So these columns, pretty self-explanatory, created by who created the report. And so, for example, SSDT created all these reports. And if you want to copy that report, it's going to show your username because you copied it and you're now making adjustments and save that report. And then the report name is exactly what it is, the report name, whatever you choose to name it. And then the description, again, we can edit those fields by clicking on the edit button. My report name, description, and tags. Okay. All right. So at the bottom of page 5, import report. So again, we've downloaded this definition. We have emailed it to the person we would want to have the ability to run that report. And so now they're ready to import it into their instance under their username, or vice versa. Someone sends you a report definition and you want to upload it. We're going to click import report. We're going to locate that definition, and I just downloaded 3 of them. Okay. And so we would select that definition, and you can either double click or you can left click and then click open. And then you have, again, the option to change this, whatever you want. You change your description, your tags, whatever the case may be. And then you would save it, and here it is. It showed up at the top. So that's how you import a report definition that someone receives or you receive yourself. Why don't the favorite reports file alphabetically among the SSDT reports on the home page? So if we go to the home page, and so are you talking about when it's all reports showing, or when your favorites are only showing, or both? Because it just depends. So right now they show in report name order. Okay, so all reports. So we click on all reports. Okay, so I'm just adjusting the column here. It's just like an Excel workbook. You can adjust the column by coming up here and putting your cursor on the line until it shows 2 arrows. So these are, I believe, in order by report name. So you can sort by report name. You just select the report name header up here, or you can sort by username, which obviously that's not sorting by username very well, is it? So that might be something we have to send up as not sorting properly. What I'll do is I'll if somebody can make a note and remind me afterwards, I'll send up, or if somebody else wants to send up and find out why they're not sorting the way they're supposed to be. Yeah, report name. Yeah, I'm not really understanding the sorting here, because this is saying it's sorting descending from largest to smallest, and then you have my budget's expense in here and in between the S's. So not sure. So yes, the recording will be available, within a couple of days on our webpage, and yes, I will show you where where that'll be located. Thank you, Carol. Again, so we'll send that up, and I'll find out the issue with the sorting on that, and we'll let everyone know. Okay, so back to report and report manager. Okay, so we covered the import report button. Create form. So this button here allows you to upload customize reports, such as like direct deposit. So if there's a direct deposit that you're wanting a specific way, then we could create that in a Word document, and then come here and we would put in the report name, description, tags, and then we would select the appropriate entity type for whatever we're loading. And so that's what create form is. So there's customized reports, report templates, I should say, that we can use to create those reports. And then the select form button just allows you to go out and select that customized form that we want to import. For example, let me find the okay, it must be direct deposits and payroll. Ooh, this is what kind of day it's been. I'm sitting here looking for direct deposit entity, and we're in USAS. That just tells you where my head is. So you do have the ability to create Word documents for like report templates and can import them in using a specific entity. I've not had anybody request that before on the USAS side. I don't know if anybody on the team has and may want to add some information. But I know on the USAS or the payroll side, I have helped several districts create a new direct deposit form. For example, I had one district wanted to put their logo on the direct deposit form. So we were able to, in the Word document, to put their logo at the top. And so when the direct deposit form got created and emailed, the logo would be at the top. All right, let's see here. Thank you, Stephanie. So it will be placed out on the Metaphysical YouTube channel as well. Okay, so over here to the far right, we have a More button, and you see this on pretty much all the grids. The More button allows you to bring in more columns, more properties to see on your to view on your grid. And so to select that to bring it in, then you would just check the box. If you don't want it on your grid, then you would uncheck the box. Once you finish those selections and hit close, then it will refresh the entire page to remove or add those properties. Reset. If I have filtered something and I want to reset it, and say there, I made adjustments to columns, then what it would do is just, it would reset any changes I made back to the defaults, which obviously not sure why that didn't work. I don't know. I'm losing my mind because it just reset. Anybody else see that? It reset the columns, right? There we go. So then if we hit reset, that's what I think that's what it is. It resets it to default columns because these default columns weren't in there when I refreshed. I've not used the reset button for anything. I don't know how many other people have used it. To me, I'm not real sure the purpose outside of just resetting back to default settings. But that's the reset button. It resets it back to your default settings. All right, we're on page 6. Okay, so now we're going to cover the difference between template reports, customized reports, and canned reports. So we're going to start with template reports. So on the report manager, filter by SSDT. So SSDT has placed out here template reports. So all SSDT reports are not modifiable. You can't change the report name. You can't delete it. You can't share the reports with other users that have specific roles. And the reason for that is because they are available to everyone. And so as we have in the documentation here, as SSDT creates more and more template reports, you'll see this list get larger as they add those in there. Customized reports. Okay, so customized reports customized reports are reports that you customize, that you save, and that you make changes to. So in this situation, for example, these 4 at the top are customizable reports because me as the user has the ability to delete, to share, to download, to edit, and to open the report definition for that report. So that, again, we covered the edit. So to edit the name of a customized report, we would click on the edit button. So say, for example, I like SSDT, and I'm just going to stick with disbursement detail. I like the SSDT disbursement detail, but I want to modify it. I want to make changes, and I want to change the name. Okay. Well, I can't do that because it's SSDT. So in order to copy and save it as a report that you want, we would click on the eyeball icon, the open report definition and detail report view. So again, the eyeball icon to copy the SSDT disbursement summary or detail report so that I can make it customizable. So we're going to click on the eyeball, and up here under the save as. So we have the save as field here. I'm just going to take out SSDT. You can name it whatever you want, but just for the sake of training, I'm just going to take out SSDT. Okay. Now I'm going to click on Save Report. So report has been saved as disbursement detail. Well, I want to go see from this point, and again, this will be covered in intermediate, but at this point, then now I can start modifying the report, taking out properties, adding properties, changing the sort priority, changing my configure filters. So now I have the ability to do that. So if we click on Report Manager button over here to the right, see, now we have a disbursement detail under my created by username. So disbursement detail. And if we come back down here, we can see that we still have an SSDT disbursement detail because we cannot delete, modify, or share an SSDT report. So that's how you copy an SSDT report and change the name that you have the ability to customize. All right. So again, all SSDT reports are template reports. And then anything under the created by column that does not have SSDT next to it is a customizable report. All right, so now we're gonna cover canned reports. So these reports are located under the Report tab at the top. So we're gonna click on Report tab, and here they are. All of these reports here are canned reports. So what I mean by canned reports are they cannot be modified, they can't be renamed, they can't be deleted, they can't be shared. Okay. For the most part, these canned reports are created, have been created for, I just lost my train of thought. They were created to help the report generate faster. Some of these customized and template reports may take a while to generate, but these reports were created to generate faster, to get the data to you quicker. In the documentation, increased performance. That's what the word I was looking for. These canned reports have increased performance to them. In the documentation, I did a screenshot of these canned reports, and it shows the classic comparison. So the equivalent to the classic report, as well as a definition of that report. So the account activity report will generate a detailed report of transactions that make up the amounts in the budget or revenue accounts. And this is all based off what you enter. And so as you can see here, this looks very similar to our generate report window, our report options tab, our query options tab, and our sort options tab. They're pretty much, it's all on one page. So, up here you have your save and recall. So you have the ability to create a save and recall, as we covered in the beginning. You can select budget and revenue, your start date, So I'm just going to put in August since we're in August. I'm not going to put in any options. And we're going to generate. Oh, did that block me? Yep, sure did. Let's try this again. So there we go. And then, so it's created the report. So then that's your budget account activity report. Again, so you have the option to change your report format. And so just like on the generate report window from the home tab, you can enter your different criteria here if you want to include specific funds or functions and so on and so forth. You have your sortable properties. Again, you can change how you want to sort. Again, this is all this, all very similar to the home tab. The home tab generate report window. Why isn't there an option to generate the canned reports in Excel spreadsheet? So this one has the option of you can do Excel field names, Excel data. You have CSV, so it just depends on which one you want. You want to choose what format you want. Is there a specific report that you're referring to? Let's see. Often get requests from auditors for specific vendor reports. Is there such a report as a vendor activity report, or could it be created by SSDT? Let me see. I don't know if anybody on the team would have that. We would have to look. What you can do is send in a ticket requesting that, and someone on the team may actually have that already created that they can send to you. So just send in a ticket and we'll see what we can get for you. The employee master. Thank you, Jen. So it looks like, yeah, we've requested that canned reports also be available in other formats like Excel. I need the ODJFS report to be in Excel format. Again, and Laura, that may fall under the request for canned reports as well. If you want to send that in as a ticket, we can send that up. And if there's already an enhancement request, they'll increase the number of times for that enhancement request, which then moves it to the top of the, closer to the top of the list. You're welcome. Vendor report I run a disbursement detail report by the vendor number requested. Okay. Yeah, Jeff, we can, again, just get a hold of us and we can set you up with a report. We may even already have a report set up where you can sort by vendor number, or you can go into the disbursement detail and again, under the sort options, and you can rearrange those properties to sort by vendor number. So
Hey, Casey,
yes, ma'am.
I think Jeff's comment was geared towards the person, Marianne, who was asking for her auditors wanting specific vendor reports.
Okay. My apologies.
Thank you for sharing that, though.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. So again, we're back to the accounts payable report. So then this is the equivalent to your payable reporting classic, the auditor's request at the end of the fiscal year. Now this report, I will say, is dependent on those date fields that you have when you're creating invoices. And so just be aware of that. Your paid date, your date paid, and trying to think, your invoice date and vendor invoice date, all those things, all those dates are dependent on this report running correctly. Account status report is the next one. So again, it's the same options, same setup as you would see on your home tab under the generate report window. See, we have audit report. So you can run an audit report based off specific objects and users. Budget summary report. Yes, I'll be covering account filters here soon. Budget summary report, and then again, you have a list of them here. The documentation will tell you the definition, what you could use it for, the equivalent in Classic. So I don't want to go through every single one of these because of time frame, but those are your canned reports. All right. So that finishes up that document. So the next thing we're going to cover is the document I sent in the email, the 4 steps to creating a customized report bundle. This will cover the account filters that everyone's requesting, as well as how to create a report bundle. So for example, a report bundle could be created when you close the posting period. You have, student activity reports that you want to send out to 10 different people. This will show you how to set up that report bundle. That way it'll automatically generate that report and email it to those individuals at the end of every month when you complete your posting period close. All right. So 4 simple steps to creating a customized report bundle. And I have to give credit to Heidi because she created this, and this is very useful document. It's very simple to follow. Step 1, we're going to create an account filter. So over here under utilities, we're going to click on it and we're going to go to account filters. Again, this is under utilities and account filters. So an account filter is similar to in Classic, the USA SEC screen that you would set up for SC View users to only see certain codes. There's certain codes you want them to see. You don't want them, or maybe you want them to see all codes except for, certain codes. That's where the account filters comes in. So then if you already have account filters in there, you can view the account filter by clicking on the eyeball. You can edit the account filter by clicking on the edit button. And then you can delete the account filter if you no longer want it by clicking on the delete button. So say there's 2 ways to handle this. If you want to edit a account filter that's already there, you would just click on edit. You can change the name. You can inactivate it by unchecking the active checkbox. And then you would enter your count codes here. And again, it's just like Classic, entering those in. You enter your transaction indicator, the fund function, so on and so forth, and then you grant the specific access that they need. So you want them to have the ability to create, read, update, delete, pre-encumbrance, and encumbrance. And then to add, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, you would click on the plus sign, and then that would add a row. You have the ability to delete the row as well. So again, if you have multiple accounts, so we want to create. So if we click on the create button here at the top, and then we give it a name, I'm just going to say test. Now I will say that the filter name is case sensitive. So however you enter it in here is how you have to enter it into the options on that specific report that you're running. Okay. So then you would make sure it's active. Again, come down here to bottom left. And then you would enter the account codes that you want to pull in that report. Wildcards are percent. So for example, we want all 200 funds to come to pull in this report. But we also want to see 300s, all 300s. So then we can put our percent in, and then we hit save. And depending on how many account codes you enter, it may take a while to save. So now that we have our filter set up, we can go to the home tab or the report manager page. And we'll select a report. And so any report that has this filter name in the query options, filter name, that's where you put your account filter. So I'm gonna put test in there and I'm just gonna generate it. Yes, thank you, Jason. So for revenue, you have to make sure your transaction indicator is 03. So for revenue accounts, transaction indicator is 03. And so then it would pull up your report only showing your 200s. And then 300s if there's any 300s in here. Yeah. Yeah, right here. So your 300s. So pulled in 200s and 300s based off that account filter. So there's our 300. What if you add revenue to the report filter for an account? How would that be entered into the filter screen? So again, so we'll go to utilities and then account filters. So again, that's under utilities and account filters. And so let's pull in test. And I want 03. And I want, we're just going to do our 200 and 300s again. I'm going to save. All right, so close that. Back home. Let's see. Let me use. So your financial detail report, you put in your account filter, then again, it's going to bring in your expenditures and your receipts. So your revenues. So again, under utilities and account filters, then you would use 03 for your transaction indicator, as Jason put in the chat there. Thanks, Jason. So if I create the filters, can others in the office use them, or do they have to? Yes. Yes, they can. Thank you, Heidi. Okay. So that's account filters. So create a save and recall. So we've covered that. Again, that's your, you can, what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and create a report bundle. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my utilities and account filters, and I'm going to leave the test the way it is. Go ahead and leave that the way it is. So we created our account filter. All right, now we're going to go and create a save and recall. So I'm going to click on home, show all reports, again, home and show all reports. And I'm going to go back to my financial detail report for current period. I'm going to click on the download button again, the generate download button. Okay. And then again, save and recall. So we click on the blank space, and I'm just going to name it test. You can name it whatever you want. And we're going to hit tab, and we're going to save. So we've created our save and recall. Then I'm going to go to query options, and our test is already in there because of because we just ran it. So it held the query options based on the last run. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save again just to make sure. And so my save and recall has now been created. And again, on this document, step 2 will show you exactly what we just went through. Clicking on the blank space, typing in the name, hitting save, and then putting in all your options on the options tabs. Show you, it'll show you in the document too what I just did. I went and put my account filter name in the filter name option. All right. So now on step 3, we're going to create a report bundle. So now that we've created our save and recall, we're going to go to report. So again, report bundles is located under report. And then again, this is in the documents. We're going to select report bundles. So report and report bundles. So you're going to see in here, SSDT has report bundles already created. And again, because it's SSDT, you do not have the ability to delete or modify. So we're going to create our own report bundle here. So I'm going to click on create. And I'm going to name, again, I'm just going to use test. Name the report bundle. And then right here under select a report to add to the bundle. So select a report to add to the bundle. I'm going to go down and find my financial detail report for the period, for the current period. I passed it. So right here, financial detail report for the current period. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to pull in all of my reports tied to that report, under the save and recall. So we got default, most recent, and there's my test. So it says click the plus to add this report with the desired report options to the bundle. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus button next to my test, and it's going to add it to my bundle. See, and at this point, we have an edit button and a delete button. So I'm going to click on edit. And what do you know? We have our generate report options. Looks just like the one on our home tab. So here we have the option to change, anything that we want to change last minute. All right. And then say we want to just check the report out before we set this up, we can click on generate report. And so it's going to generate our report, and we can say, okay, well, here's some things I want to change. I want to sort it this way, or I want to include this filter. Then you can go back and include that and then hit continue, and that'll save it here. So once we have that set up, and in a bundle, you can add as many reports as you want. I don't think there's a limit. And if there is, somebody please let me know. But I didn't see anywhere where it said there was a limit. But you can, you can set this report bundle up. If you have 5 reports that you want to go to 1, 2, or 3 people, then you can put all 5 of those reports here and then hit save. And then it's added it to our grid. And so you can have the ability to uncheck this to enable it or disable it. Checked is enabled, unchecked is disabled. That means it won't run. You have the option to delete it, and you have the option to edit it again. So it takes us back to the ability to edit, and say you wanted to add a different report because you forgot to add it. Then you can go and add that report and hit save. The eyeball just allows you to view what you can edit, and then you can click the edit button here at the top to edit. All right, so we're going to schedule this report bundle. We want to schedule it to be sent out. And so we're going to click on the little clock over here, the first icon to the left. And this is step 4 on this document. So you have the options of using the cron, an event, or immediate. Okay, so again, we have links for a cron event, and again, that may be covered in the intermediate, but we're going to look at event right now. So say at the end of the month, you go to close your posting period, and that's when you want everything to be sent out. So we're going to select event. The job name, again, is test or whatever you had it named. And so event, we're going to click on the drop down. And so you can easily find what event you want by typing it in. So I want posting period. And here, if you want it to go out when you close your posting period for the month, make sure you select close completed event. This is what SSDT recommends. So you'll want to select posting period close completed event. I had a district that set half of them up with completed event and half of them up with posting period close event. Well, that's when the SSDT said we recommend completed event. That way, when it's finished, it gets sent out, because all the ones that were labeled close event just weren't being sent out. Once they changed them, then they got sent out the next month. So always use posting period close completed event. Next, you're going to put in, whatever emails you want it to go to. So you can enter 1, you can enter multiple. To enter multiple, you're going to put in a comma. No space, just a comma. And then the archive type, you must select an archive type or it will not process. So you must select an archive type or it will not process. There's 2 options. There's one, send multiple notifications with a single attachment. So for example, say this report bundle has 5 reports. By selecting the first option, they're going to get 5 emails with with each report attached to it. So say you don't want to upset anybody and give them a bad weekend by doing that, then you'll want to select single notification with multiple attachments. Therefore, 1 email with multiple reports tied to it. And then you would hit save. Once you hit save, then it'll sit out there until you close that posting period. Once you close that posting period and it completes, it finishes all the way through, it will fire off those reports to those individuals. So we're just going to do a little test here for immediate. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to take this out. But I'm going to go ahead and change this to immediate. And so as you can see, it takes away the event option. All right. And then hit save. And so as you can see real fast in blue, it created the, created that email. So now what we can do is if you want to check to see the results or the status of that report bundle, then we can go to utilities, job scheduler. So utilities and then job scheduler. Now keep in mind, you as the user will only see the ones you create and process. So we're going to come here, we're going to check test. So it's saying unknown, failed. All right. And it might be because of test account, I'm not sure. So failed. So if we click on it, yeah. So it's because it's a test account and they don't have the ports set up. I had a feeling it would, but you can come here and check the status of that report and it'll tell you. Again, once you close your posting period and it completes, then it's going to fire off those reports to those individuals. And the document that we went through the 4 simple steps to creating a report bundle actually has links on it for what the SSDT suggests to use for cron, the cron expressions. So you can actually click on those links to take you to those cron expressions. And then they have links that explain each, job type for the report bundle. And then if you scroll on down a little bit more on page 7, we actually have a link in there for a cron expression generator, if you would like. So that's all I have for that document. Now I've also sent out where's it at? I don't think I opened it. An Excel spreadsheet for a template crosswalk. And again, that will, I thought I had it open. That will tell you the redesign report, as well as the equivalent in Classic. Let's see if I can pull that up here. Okay. All right, so here's the spreadsheet. Again, it's a template crosswalk. So you have redesign reports here, you have the Classic equivalent, and then you have a definition. Now, I will tell you that not all Classic reports have a equivalent in the crosswalk. Now, that doesn't mean that, that report, the equivalent from Classic doesn't exist. You'll just want to email us and just ask and say, hey, I used to run this in Classic. I don't see it on this list. Do we have it for redesign? Is it possible? We may have it, or it may be a report that they did not pull over. So just keep that in mind. Is there a way to schedule reports bundles to be managed by more than one person in the district? If I remember correctly, and somebody chime in, I don't think they can. We did find a way. Okay. So yes, apparently there is a way for more than one person in the district to manage those report bundles. If somebody wants to chime in or share with me, because I was not aware of that. I've never had anybody ask that question before. So yes, Heidi, please, if you don't mind to share.
Yeah, I don't mind. That's a great question and something that we discovered about 6 months to 8 months ago. I think Kyle's the one that asked the question. So Kyle, no one's going to be able to modify or edit the bundles that you have done. However, for example, we had 2 districts, and one district was the person that had set up their glorious report bundles. She was retiring. And so, of course, who's going to maintain those, right, once she retires? So we have found a way to do that. I mean, if that is something that you're interested in that case, right? If God forbid you leave or something along that lines, there's that case. And then there is the case of, we had a district that came on and we had this revelation, ran it by the SSDT, ran it by the SOC audit. And that is to create a user for reports management only. So that user would be set up with those permissions with its own username and password that would be given to the district treasurer. And we would record all of this through one of our cases, one of our tickets or one of our cases. And then that would be distributed out by the treasurer to whomever would be doing that. So for Kyle, I'm going to pick on you. As an example, you've got your bundles, but if we created a new user for you, you would have a user login for both, right? Because you're maintaining those reports and report bundles. Now, keep in mind that if Kyle has his own save and recalls, he would have to recreate those save and recalls under this new user, because of course, save and recalls are unique to the user name, not to everyone, or else that would create a hot mess. So if that is something you're interested in, let us know. We've had some experience with that, and we can assist in things like that. Did I lose your case?
No, I'm here. No, I was reading Kyle's. I was reading Kyle's chat. I was reading Kyle's chat.
I thought, crap, I scared them all.
No. Don't worry, I can't retire until like 2050 or 60 or something like that. So, Megan, yes, I believe we are giving contact hours. I haven't heard otherwise. So just send in a ticket for us, and we'll get you that certificate. So, is there any questions that anybody had written down that they would like to ask? All right. Well, again, as I stated, come back for the intermediate session by the wonderful and marvelous Sharon Lawley. That will be on April 20th. And so I hope that everyone was able to get something out of this. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are always willing and able to provide you what, the answers that you need and the help that you need. So,
Hey, Casey.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we depart, do you mind showing everyone how to get out to our YouTube channel?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Okay.
So for those of you that are wanting to come out and view the recording of this session at a later time, Casey's taking you out to the Meta Solutions website, and he's going to go over to the fiscal services. So maybe you have this bookmarked. If not, there are a number of ways to get there. And then he's going to go down to links and documents. And then he's going to scroll down right above the remote assistance area to the YouTube Fiscal Services channel. And then assuming we don't have any technical issues with the recording, it will be posted out there within the next couple days. Okay, so along with that, you can see there are a number of other previous recordings. So please go out and take a look. If there's a refresher you'd like on something, we have a number of items out there. And I did want Casey to show us one last time how to reach our roundtable subjects. There are recordings out there also. And there was one specific recording session that was just on creating a report bundle. So if you wanted to see that part again and you didn't want to fast forward through everything, you could go right to the roundtable discussions. And I believe the report bundle was put under both USAS and USPSR, but you just open it up and look for the session you're wanting to have. Yep. And on May 11th, we did do a session on report bundles. So a lot of good information out there, a lot of good resources. Some of them are more lengthy than others, but we just wanted to make sure everybody knew where to find that information. Thank you for doing that, Casey.
You're welcome. All righty. Well, if there's no other questions, everyone is free to just go home and enjoy the rest of the evening. All right. Thank you, everyone.